Just have a little think for a minute how you feel about this. If an adult has sex in the UK with a person who is under 16 years old, then technically speaking that's paedophilia, and indeed it is paedophilia. That person would be known then as a paedophile. They would be convicted, they may go to prison for a time, they would have to sign the sex offenders register and be registered as a sex offender. Paedophiles are treated very badly here in the UK, and I believe elsewhere, also in prison, frequently beaten up. Now have a little think about this. What if somebody said that they know about adults having sex with 9-year-old girls, with 9-year-old children? How do you feel about that? Just pause and think about that for a moment. And I'm going to show you a news item from today, and this is on the BBC News website. A teacher was jailed today for underage sex with a pupil today. He had a sex with a 15-year-old pupil. Robinson said he did not have sex with the girl until her 16th birthday. Robinson had admitted having a relationship with the teenager, who cannot be named, but told the court they fell in love. So even though they were apparently, according to him anyway, his defence was that he could have sex, morally speaking, from his point of view, with a 15-year-old girl who he claims was 16. His justification for that was that they were in love. I want to show you a man who is an honorary professor at some of the universities in the United Kingdom because he's a human rights champion. Now, I'm a human, and this man does not represent me at all. He's not a human rights champion, as we shall see. The man we're talking about here is Peter Tatchell, from the homosexual campaign group Liberty, and of course he also hangs out with Stonewall and Gay Pride and so on. And this article is about him pleading to decriminalise sex with children, and this is in the Guardian newspaper, but this is the Guardian Online. Here's a website which comments on this. Now, this is a pressure group website. It's the Christian Institute, and they're very good at digging stories up and summarising them. And if you'll notice here, they put links to their source material. So, you know, and I check these out, and you can make sure that what they're saying is not made up. And it says here, homosexual rights campaigner Peter Tatchell has repeated his call for the age of consent to be lowered to just 14 years old. I don't know if you have children. I've got children. My children are older than 14 now. I would be horrified at anybody having sex with my children at 14 years old. But here we're talking about an adult sexual predator who is an honorary professor at respected universities in the UK because he calls himself a human rights campaigner. He campaigns for underage sex. Let's read on. Mr. Tatchell's latest comments echo those made by him last year, as well as in a controversial letter he sent to the Guardian newspaper in 1997, in which he talked about the positive nature of some child-adult sexual relationships, and he even said that he knew cases of 9-year-olds for whom sex with adults gave them great joy. Just think back to what I asked you earlier, how you'd feel about a paedophile having sex with a 9-year-old girl. And Peter Tatchell of Liberty, oblique Stonewall, Gay Pride, knows adults, presumably men, who have had sex with 9-year-old boys, not even girls, boys. You can cloak that up any way you want, and Peter Tatchell refers to man-boy love, just like the teacher did in his defence in his case of having sex with a 15-year-old pupil. But it's not man-boy love, it's preying on the lives of children for the sake of self-sexual gratification. And I wonder whether the police have investigated Mr. Tatchell's comment. We've gone through an era in the UK where there's been a re-education going on, brainwashing by the government that homosexuality is right and good and decent. Here we see the real agenda of organisations like Stonewall, Outrage, Gay Pride. Gay Pride, nothing to be proud of at all. We as a nation should be ashamed of ourselves for allowing gay pride to take place in our streets and our towns. It may be entertaining, it may appear to be fun, we see all the costumes and people behaving outrageously, but look at the agenda that's going on behind the scenes. The lowering of the age of consent. Why? So that they can have sex with boys. Disgusting. We should be ashamed, and I think the police should investigate this. No doubt they won't, but if you're in a position to influence there, then please use that influence. Genesis chapter 19. The two angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When he saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. "My lords," he said, "please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night, and then go on your way early in the morning." "No," they answered, "we will spend the night in the square." But he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot, "Where are the men who have come to you tonight? Bring them out, so that we can have sex with them." Then the angels struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness, so they could not find the door. The two men said to Lot, "Do you have anyone else here, sons-in-law, daughters, anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place. The outcry of the Lord against its people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it." Then the Lord rained down burning sulphur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, including those living in the cities, and also the vegetation in the land. Early the next morning Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah, toward all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham, and he brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. Jesus said, "As it was in the beginning, it will be in the end."